Welcome back to Project Management Hot Topics for the Project Leadership Institute. Thank you very much for coming as usual. I have today a topic of interest to some of you because I know some of you are Agile aficionados. That's what I call you. But many of you in the world of Agile, you play dual roles. You play some predictive roles in the firm and you play some Agile roles. But I want to speak to the product owners today. So the question is, what do I need to know to be an effective product owner? How can I up my game in leadership as a product owner? And I want to teach you a few things from my book. The book is called How to Be a Great Agile Leader, 5 Steps. I call it 5 Levels of Scrum Leadership. Now, Scrum Leadership is not just for the Scrum Master. Scrum Leadership is for everyone, okay? It's for everyone on the Scrum team. But for the product owner, what is the role of the product owner? The product owner is a business representative who understands the product, who understands the business, and who understands the business case for the product. And this is why in a lot of companies, they believe the transition, the career path for a business analyst could be to grow into some form of a product owner, but it doesn't always follow. There's a lot of other characteristics that a great product owner should have. You know, one of the terminologies we use for the product owner in Agile space is the Chief Value Officer. And what does that mean? It means that the product owner should be aware of value. The product owner really needs to understand what is value to my customer, what is value to my business unit that I represent. And when we talk about value, value is really the net benefits that a user or a customer experiences from the product. And when I say product, I don't want to lose those of you who are into services, because a product is just a general term. A product owner could be a product owner of a product, a service, or even a lab result, for example. So don't get into the trap of thinking that Agile and this stuff we're talking about is just for products. That's not true. So services, other kinds of operational type of work, you could have a product owner role helping through that, okay? So the Chief Value Officer, what that means is we're just sensitive to value. We know what value is. We represent the business to get the maximum value at the end of every sprint. Of course, without killing the team, right? Within the confines and the sensibilities of what our team's capacity is and what their velocity is and things like that. So I want to give you a few ideas, like I said, in Scrum Leadership for the product owner. The very first one, the product owner must see themselves as a servant leader, right? That's what the S in Scrum stands for. It stands for being a servant leader. You're a servant leader for the business. You are there to serve the business. You're there to represent their interest, not yours. You're there to usher in the team to help you to get these stakeholder leanings and needs met. So you as a servant leader, you put on that hat of business. How can I serve you? What do you need me to do? What features, what aspects of this tool, of this product, of this service do you need me to accentuate? What are the big blocks, the big chunks of functionality that will radically change your life? How can I prioritize Epic 1 versus Epic 10? How do I know that this is what I need to be working on now? This is how you come in with a servant mindset. And then for the team, when you are interacting with the team product owners, your mindset needs to be, how can I serve you? Yes, I'm a quasi-customer to you. I'm a business representative to you, but how can I help you get more finesse? How can I fine-tune these stories? Or how can I give you a better perspective of the why behind this, or the attached value to a story or an epic or some other product backlog item? So you always need to be coming in with that servant leader mindset. The next one is a mindset of collaboration, right? So the C in Scrum is for collaboration. The mindset here needs to be, you're not working for me, you're working with me. We're not working against each other, right? It's often said the Scrum Master needs to shield the team from interruptions. But heaven help them when the product owner themselves are the interruption or the problem. Hopefully that's not the case here. But the general idea is we need to collaborate. Let's work together. How can I work with you? Not how can you work for me? That's not the mindset. So when you put on that thinking hat of I am working with you, team, development team, right? Scrum Master. I often say the Scrum Master and the product owner, they need to be buddies. They need to be getting along well, synergizing to take the team up a notch. If you have a product owner that is looked at as an outsider or an enemy, you didn't get the memo. Scrum teams, do you copy me? You are not doing it the right way. The right way is to be inclusive about the product owner and the product owner to be inclusive of the team, okay? So when we talk about a mindset of collaboration, product owner working with Scrum Master working with team, development team working with the product owner with a propensity to collaborate, with an intentionality about collaboration. You get what I'm saying? So collaboration is key, right? The R is for results oriented. Results-oriented leadership. I was talking to a Scrum Master the other day, and this individual was getting a little bit frustrated at the team. I won't say he or she or his or her, because you'll know who I'm talking about. But was getting quite frustrated about the team and saying, my team is always dodging work. They just fold at the end of the sprint and they just start coasting. You know, we got from, let's say, Tuesday to Friday, but by Tuesday afternoon, they're coasting. They're not putting in their best. And I'm like, well, we got a bigger problem, because one of the things we talk about in Scrum is trust. We trust each other, there's no suspicion, and we believe that the Scrum team is doing the best they can to deliver what they've committed to. That's the idea. But if people are being fickle, truly, and folding up and not putting in their best and, you know, not putting in their full capacity, maybe they've got a capacity of 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and they're only putting in 2 hours and goofing off the rest and socializing, well, that's not good enough, which is why we talk about being results oriented. So everyone on the team should have gotten the memo. It's a mindset adjustment for our team to be results oriented. But I also want to make it clear there needs to be balance. You know, we talk about the Agile Manifesto principles, and one of the principles we talk about is sustainable pace. We talk about maintaining a constant pace indefinitely. A constant pace doesn't mean fast pace. You know, the tortoise and the hare. The hare was a speed demon, a maniac, and ran out of gas. That's a fast pace. The tortoise had the constant pace and eventually got the project done, got to the end goal. So I encourage you to be results oriented, but at the same time have balance. I would also say defer to the Scrum Masters, product owners. It's the place of the product owner to speak to the Scrum Master when things don't smell right. You know, on an Agile team, there's times things don't look right or smell right. You might want to have that conversation with the Scrum Master, because Scrum Master is a coach of the team, right? It's not to say that the product owner can't coach the team, but the Scrum Master should be definitely that person who is in tune, amp up the being in tune, right? And therefore, product owner, when you're not clear on something or you need to get additional information or perspectives, I would encourage some discussion with the Scrum Master. All right, so results-oriented is important. When the team is committing to certain amounts of work. I know you folks, you use t-shirt sizing. I know some of the other teams you use story points, but you know, I know you convert them at the end of the day. So it still boils down to a visible velocity or completed versus committed, CVC. When the CVC number is so lopsided that a lot of what was committed to wasn't done, then we have a problem. Okay, so I would say hold everyone accountable, not in a threatening way, but again, coming from a mindfulness approach, which we're soon going to talk about. Being mindful of things people are going through, but at the same time, holding the team accountable. So it could start off with a why. Why is this happening? And it could be a question that you open to everyone. But you got to hold each other accountable, right? Remember that in the world of Scrum, it's a Scrum team, right? It's not it's not the Scrum Master and the developers versus the product owner. That's important. All right, you in this world is just for unifying. Unify people, don't divide them. So product owner, always put in a good word where necessary, where there's an opportunity, put in a good word for the team. Don't throw the team under the bus. Yeah, that team's so useless, it's so lazy, they can never deliver on time. No, don't do that. That's not the way to unify, right? Unify. There are two types of people, right? There's people who unify and there are people who divide. It's that simple. You're either a unifier or you're a divider. There's no dishwater doll in the middle. No, you're one or the other. Which one are you? Product owner is the question. So be a unifier, unify teams. Finally, we have M, and M is for mindfulness. And mindfulness just means emotional intelligence and empathy. You can actually find this broken down to great details in the book. The 5 levels of Scrum leadership. I'm going to put a link below. But the idea is for everyone on a Scrum team to be a servant leader, to be collaborative, to be results oriented so we can have targets ourselves. And this is how we want to bring up our teams, to encourage our teams, especially those new agile teams. We want to grow them into a mindfulness of results oriented. We want them to be aware of it. And then we have unifying. Let's unify, let's not divide, let's not subtract, right? Let's unify, let's not divide, and then we have mindfulness, okay? So as far as the base of things I want product owners to do, that pretty much forms it, the S.C.R.U.M, right? That's what Scrum stands for in this 5 levels breakdown that I have. So what I would like to advise for product owners in closing, I want to say, 1, don't stop understanding this terrain, okay? The role of a product owner is essential for effectively managing a product's development and maximizing its value. The understanding of Agile is not just relegated to a Scrum Master. So I want you to put on that thinking cap of, I'm an Agilist. It's not just for the Scrum Master, right? Agile principles begins with an introduction to that, understanding the principles, understanding what the 12 principles really mean, and understand which principles are predominantly in your court, because some are, right? Like when we talk about highest priorities to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable product value, right? This is your piece. It's the value piece. But you could be looked at as a voice of the customer. So you need to be concerned with satisfying the customer, and so on and so forth. There's so many of the principles that are yours, right? It's as though they wrote them for you. So be aware of Agile, be aware of Scrum, do some studying of those things. Highly advised certification, CSPO, Certified Scrum Product Owner, PSPO. These are just great ones for you to have that just up the ante on your product ownership. I would say if you haven't gone for a course in that, look for one of our courses. We have a course on product owner fundamentals. I'm going to endeavor to put a link below this so that you can tap into that. I would say also be mindful of your job as the owner of the backlog, right? That's why we call you product owner, because you own the backlog. So backlog management, prioritization, and things like that. Product development and delivery, also be aware of those dynamics and how things work. And as you sink your teeth more into some of the technicalities, I'm sure that you'll get a much bigger bang for your buck as an Agilist, all right? So that's it. S.C.R.U.M, 5 levels of Scrum leadership. and understanding that you need to do more, you need to study, as the book says, study to show that you are approved, that you are a workman to be regarded as someone with a voice, someone who has the knowledge. That's really the summary of all I'm saying. All right, so understand your 5 levels of leadership, keep studying Agile, keep understanding value, keep understanding what the backlog is all about, keep asking yourself, what are the ways I can prioritize? What are the ways that, instead of using the fire alarm method of he or she who screams the loudest in the business, how about using a little bit of ROI, a little bit of cost of delay, right? How about using a little bit of understanding of value versus urgency? How about understanding the place of risk, right? Because I often say if you have a big risk and big value, your customer is going to be unrelenting. They're not going to let you go. You think the business unit is going to let you go if you're not delivering value? You're saying, I don't want to do that, it's too risky. No, that's the big, hairy, audacious goal. That's the big, hairy, audacious value that's waiting. The beehive is just waiting. It's value, but it's big, it's hairy, it's audacious. But when you conquer it as a team, my goodness, the payoff is tremendous for the entire organization. So my last words for the product owner is to really focus on your role. Invest some money in books, training. Like I said, I'm going to put a link below to training that you can take from my buddy Roy and I, and you can get more into this world of product ownership, okay? Thank you for those of you watching. If you got any questions, put them in the comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. For those in the room, if you have any questions, now would be a good time. Thank you very much. Any questions? They all make sense?